everybody, and welcome back to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will, I'm a D&D sex icon, and I'm back today with yet another episode of The Long March. We've got a full cast and crew with us today, so let us go and let's play some goddamn Dungeons & Dragons. We have a Dungeon Master with us tonight. His name is Josh. Josh, how you doing, my friend?
I am not muted. I am so instantly amazing. I am good. I am looking forward to this. This is going to be an interesting episode because, well, some stuff happened last week, and that's good. That's no negative ramifications from last week whatsoever. And I've also prepared a little thing, and I will get to that another time.
Ooh, preparation. I like the sound of that. Well, we also have with us today Mr. Tall Squall. Squall, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing good. Looking forward to some of this. See how things go forward. Refreshing myself with my notes of what all went on last week, and looking forward to seeing how this is going to all go down. Yeah, I am playing Calvin Horton. I'm here to be your bardic inspiration for the day, and just as happy as can be. Happier than pig and slop to be here and playing the Long March with y'all.
Great stuff. We also have Little Cup of Joe, Jess, back with us tonight. How you doing, Jess?
I am doing great. Yeah, I'm really excited to find out what in the world is going to happen to all of us. What happened to our missing prince? Will we survive? I don't know. I play Lucy, the wizard who really just wanted to write a book about history. And now she's wrapped up in all this.
Yep.
God bless. Well, last but not least, we have Laura Lania back with us tonight. Tia, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I definitely was here on time and not playing video games as of like 30 seconds ago. Cannot prove a thing. I'm excited to play. I've been talking about playing D&D all day, and so everyone that came over from my stream just now, it's D&D time. I'm going to be playing Sarah, the level 5 fighter archer champion, and it's going to be good times.
Awesome. As for myself, I will be playing Curtis Pearson. He is a human rogue, and I think he just got blown up last week, so I might not be playing him for too long. But certainly I have played him in the past. We'll have to see how much of him I am playing so far. But before we dive into today's game, I'll remind you guys, of course, that we are sponsored by Fancy Grounds here, our virtual tabletop of choice. And in fact, slide on over in just a moment here to our map for today so you guys can see Fancy Grounds on display. Voila, there it is. Check it out, fancygrounds.com. They have a huge Steam summer sale on at the moment for 25% off across the board with extra discounts on various other products like the starter bundles. So definitely go and check out Fancy Grounds. Now is the time to get involved. And of course, go to whalengames.co.uk for all of your miniature needs. They sell D&D books over there. If you're looking for Dragon Heist, that's on pre-order at up to 20% off the discount price, the retail price, rather. So go over to Whaling Games and check them out, my friends. Of course, if you haven't followed yet, hit the follow button, join us. 20 followers, and of course, 20 retweets on that tweet there in the chat. You guys get a viewer decision where you get to decide something which happens next in our campaign. And of course, you can donate to affect the game as well. Give players net 1s, net 20s, wild magic surges. And of course, check that panel down below. We've shaken things up a little bit this month, including the ultimate encounter of this month, which is actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. If at any point throughout this month someone is insane enough to donate £300 to Encounter Roleplay, then we stop everything, no matter what we're doing, and actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf happens. So,
I will tell you right now. I will tell you right now. I have its stats. I have actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf stats.
That's
the DM. I'm just saying.
I have an emote in my chat that is Shia LaBeouf's face. You have no idea what that means to me. Like,
that is.
Did I read that right?
Yep.
You sure did. You sure did.
Yep.
That is 8 wild magic surges in from Israel before Tool Score to begin things off. So, what better way to start an episode of 1 month than that?
Well, that's just fine how you do. I'm just happier than a hobgoblin in a whorehouse about this, let me tell you. Let me get to rolling.
Dear God.
It's Reva, you had a go at me, and we were both watching a stream like an hour ago, and you called me evil. Just saying, right there.
There you go. But I will hand over to you, Josh, to remind us of what happened last week on the show and to take us into tonight's episode.
Indeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, last week on the Long March, the party had been traveling for some time, tracking down the missing prince of the Kingdom of Rivercroft. This is a particularly tense time because the prince is due to be go through his coronation. I don't know if any of the party are actually tracking, but it's tomorrow, the prince's coronation, and you're 2 days travel away and are no closer to unveiling where he is. However, you have found a couple of clues as to his potential whereabouts. First was the crown, which was dug out of the stomach of a dead lycanthrope, a werewolf, by the wonderful Sarah. She discovered that she has found what appears to be a crown of Evercroft, most likely the prince's, in the stomach of a werewolf, but no trace of the body. So maybe he is very, very dead. Who knows? There is also the small matter of you guys approaching the New Freefields territory. New Freefields, you can see there in chat that there is the sigil of the New Freefields. They are a organization that is illegally occupying the southern parts of Rivercroft, stockpiling food and various other things. They have declared themselves almost a humanitarian effort, a relief effort against this famine that's rolling in, but they don't take kindly to trespassers, which you guys most certainly are. You've delved into their territory to see if you can find the location of a treaty between the prince and them, and came upon the scene of a massacre. Mostly druids were killed and had been piled up and their bodies burnt in a place called Farmer's Rest. And unfortunately, there was one other thing present there, other than a few buildings that had survived whatever fight took place, and that was a small carriage that seemed to be a royal carriage of some kind. And upon investigating it further, Duran opened the door. There was a slight flash. He turned and had just a moment to hold out a hand towards Curtis, who was also approaching, and said, "Get back." And then the entire carriage vanished in boiling flame and smoke. And that is where we left off last week, so there we have it.
Good. I think we have some of Torscroll's wild magic surges in here at the moment, and boy, they're interesting. So, whilst you're looking at the others, Torscroll, I'll read these out for you, buddy. So, Calvin's next 1d attacks upon Calvin heal rather than inflict damage.
I tell you what I'm going to do. How about this? There's 1d10. For every attack you gain, you hit, you'll take damage, but you'll also get 1d10 temporary hit points, which will stack. Cool. So it's, and we're going to play this like almost like ferocity. I was trying to figure out how that was. Yeah, ferocity. Essentially, almost raging through it. Next one is each day caster wakes thinking he or she is under attack. Wonderful. Okay. So some serious paranoia in this party. That's good. And at any crossroads, target is inclined to turn back in a show literally called The Long March, which is every tavern. Yeah, right. Every tavern, every crossroad, everything. Oh god! Caster's spellbook is fiercely coveted by all who pass near it. I'm gonna change that to your musical instruments, as you're a bard as opposed to. Nice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Target asserts he'll die unless he kills the caster.
That's weird because I wasn't casting it on, so I don't know how you want to deal with it.
There is a caster in your party who has caused nothing but calamity, disaster, and terror wherever you guys have traveled. I'm going to tell you, so the way I'm going to plant this seed in Calvin's head, that Calvin, no matter where you go, Lucy causes danger and carnage, and you are significantly more likely to encounter danger with her traveling with you. It's just a seed at the moment, but we're going to see how that plays out over the coming episodes.
So it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. Oh, and Caster appears to be bleeding profusely whenever he's indoors.
Interesting.
Okay.
And the last
sounds
one is a
awful.
big one.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know how.
Okay, we're gonna have okay. So the last one, any missile weapons hitting the target is 10% likely to take root. I'll change this ever so slightly. 10% chance to cause potentially a lingering injury.
Okay. And of course, the last one, which is 9389, we know how those big ones are. It's me. So I got a good one.
Next person slain nearby is resurrected with full hit points. What do you know?
That's not even.
What do you
that's
know,
not even
Duran
funny.
or Curtis?
Good to know he's fine. Good to know he's fine.
The spookiest thing is Duran actually has a thing. Duran, in an earlier one, you cast a wild magic surge, and Duran's blood holds the secret to immortal life.
What the heck is this guy?
Who the fuck is Duran? I really wish, like, my biggest regret is giving him the name Duran because he's become so vitally important suddenly, and I'm like, no, he's that character.
Maybe it's an alias.
Yeah. Oh, God.
All right.
Crazy.
Thank you.
I gotta say, for 8 wild magic surges, that could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah, there's,
Speak for yourself.
Do not
I'm ready,
touch chat.
Oh, Lord.
Well, you gone and done it.
Oh,
That's
no.
10 wild magics to Sarah.
Why did you open your mouth, Squall?
Oh, to
Why?
Sarah. And now, oh no, because
10 to Sarah.
I'm gonna get on this shit right
Okay,
now.
so while Sarah rolls those, maybe we should dive back into the story.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a scene where I'm gonna need everyone to make me a con save. Sarah, you're omitted from this for now because you're busy rolling stuff. Everyone, give me a con saving throw. As there's just been a massive explosion.
Oh boy.
okay. Sorry, I gotta get my sheet up
Oh,
and
there it
such.
is. Not awesome.
There it is.
There it is. It's not quite in that one.
Ooh, look at that, 21.
Okay, Calvin, you see the explosion, like essentially what is like a huge wave of force that comes out, kicking like thick, acrid black smoke in every direction, and it sort of comes outwards, and there is this pile of corpses that are in front of you that have been piled up, including horses, beasts of burden, and a few sort of weapons. And you just happen to be the other side of it. You were in the process of putting the fire out with Lucy's Decanter of Endless Water and your Levitate spell. And because of that, this is between you and the explosion, and you manage to flatten yourself against the floor. You see it coming, and you just fall back, sort of clutching your hands across your chest, covering your face, and this shockwave rushes over you as you have a blade miss you by a fraction of an inch. What looks to be sort of potentially a short blade made out of sort of a carved piece of antler that has been serrated just slides past, whipping the air, cutting inches from your nose, and embeds itself in the dirt near you. But you are saved from this explosion by fortune and fate. However, you guys who were not so lucky, you're going to take some damage. Oh, damn. That's 24 bludgeoning damage. As this explosion is fucking severe. And that comes from not only the initial impact and the initial detonation, there's also the debris. You are pelted with tiny pieces of shrapnel and Curtis.
I've taken 6 wounds from somewhere, and I'm not entirely remembering where they're from. Did we take a long rest between?
Yes, you've had a long
last
rest.
episode. So okay. So I took 24.
Yeah.
So I'm just up on 4 hit points.
So Curtis, you are knocked flat and sort of skid and end up. We're gonna put Curtis on the map just behind. You should actually have a map of Farmer's Rest just. Oh, you've got it up there.
So was the 20. Was the 24 if you saved, or 24 was if you failed?
24 if you saved. I'm going to give it to you because you've got cover. You can take a quarter damage because you were actually specifically there. I'm going to give Lucy. You're going to take full damage as you're pretty close. Curtis Curtis, you end up in this room over here. Like, you go through the door and sort of like the building. Like, it doesn't catch a blaze, but like tiny bits of it catch fire. The shrubbery around you, luckily it's been raining like non-stop, but some of the sort of surrounding land catches fire for a brief moment, and there is a crater where this coach was. And is that all of the wild magic surges?
Oh no, there's more coming.
Yeah, that's
like half of it.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Were you talking to me or were you talking to Will about taking quarter damage?
You.
Because I was right there with. Oh, okay. Even though I was up there with levitating.
You're the other side of this pile, so in front of you, the circle. Gotcha. Yeah, that is like the pile of bodies, and it's directly between you and the carriage. So Curtis is knocked flying and almost sort of knocked unconscious with just a sheer concussive impact. Curtis, since you left on this expedition, you've ended up quite less pretty than when you first set out.
I look fucking bad. Like, most of my face is melted, and I'm probably covered in ash.
Yeah, you look like you've taken a shotgun blast. You know those tiny like pinpricks of blood that begin to blossom out. Yeah, it's unpleasant.
If Squall got all the good wild magic surges, I know who got all the bad ones.
Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down to like 5 HP, by the way.
Fantastic. Yeah. One better than Curtis. Sarah, give me a con save, and we'll see how long Sarah does.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Sarah, you're going to take half damage because you weren't so close to the party. You specifically were holding back because you were having a tantrum. You are saved by having a tantrum.
That's right. I was far away. How much damage am I taking?
You take half of 24 damage, so 12.
Okay.
It will, however, knock you on your ass. The duck, luckily, is out of range of this, but everyone else...
I'm pretty close to dead.
Yeah, everyone else
I think we all are.
That was not okay. Was my duck okay?
Yeah, your duck is okay. Priorities, ladies and gentlemen, priorities.
As long as the duck survives, that's all we need.
I very groggily am going to try and pick myself up from the explosion, my ears ringing and my vision heavily impaired with all of these wounds all over myself, and look around to see how everyone is.
Yeah, Lucy's probably face down but conscious and slowly getting up. Glasses are just completely cracked and dropped off her face by this point.
Currently,
help her up from where she is if I can. I mean, I'm pretty dead.
To everyone, you've just changed climate entirely. It is hot, but it appears to be snowing. There is ash just raining down. There is a traditional mushroom cloud that is currently up from this crater. It's much smaller. It's not a nuclear, but it has that. It's just blossomed out and is now raining down ash upon you. It's the most acrid, thick black smoke. You couldn't breathe in it. It completely obscures vision through it. But you can see at the base of it, it's sort of at the edges. There's the edge of what looks to be a quite dramatic crater.
Holy shit! What was that?
What happened?
Duran. He was. He was in there.
Is everyone all right?
Blow up.
Oh my god.
I'm alive.
Calvin will run around as his buddy and Toad shenanigans just got blown up. So Calvin's actually not doing horrible. So Duran,
Is you trying
Duran,
to?
are
you trying to go into it?
I'm not trying to go into it. I'm just like, because I was on the other side.
No.
Basically, I didn't see what happened other than that there was an explosion from the other side of this pile of bodies and debris. So I'm sort of like going around the corner to see what the hell.
The pile now looks like a rooster teeth of bodies. Like it's been splashed out, and it essentially now looks like a cone. As they like all the bodies on the top have been flung. They've gone as far as where Sarah is. And they're not all intact. It is a grim sight.
Oh man, did I get like splashed with all that shit?
Yeah. You are currently covered in gore that is not your own. Curtis, however, you see as he basically like staggers out of the building. Curtis looks like he's been potentially fatally wounded. Like he is just covered in blood. Like absolutely. You can see like he has shards of like the carriage sticking out of him in places, and just.
I look like Will from A Knight's Tale when he gets fucked with a lance.
Yeah.
That literally
I go running over, seeing Curtis. I go running over to my old friend. Hold on there, buddy. And I would like to cast Cure Wounds on him at this point, level 1, just because I don't know how much more.
Give me a medicine check, because you're also going to have to remove some of this shrapnel. Whether or not you want to do this immediately, you can certainly Cure Wounds him still, but like to get him fully up, like and start seriously healing,
if he looks, I'd rather let me see if he's stable. Sometimes it's better to not pull that stuff out.
Yeah. If you give a Cure Wounds, like just any level Cure Wounds, that'll stabilize him. On a medicine, you know that he's going to need assistance, and your hands are shaking. Like right now, you cannot help him in the way that he needs helping. Curtis, you don't actually feel so much the pain at the moment. Hasn't set in. You're in like almost instantaneous shock.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he, just to make sure he's stable and not knowing what might be ahead of us, I am going to go ahead and burn a Cure Wounds just at level 1, just to try to get him not, I know there's a lot more work to be done, but this is, stable. It's triage Cure Wounds.
I had a D10 healing from last week. Would that still apply this week? Okay, can I also second wind, or can I only do that when I'm in combat?
Any grandfathered things, so we've actually got rid of the heals because they're super tough to track. But any grandfathered things from like last month, in my opinion, should still exist because someone paid for it. I think second wind you can do any time, right?
I think so.
You're muted, Josh.
Why you?
Yeah, it's a bonus
second
action.
wind you can do any time pretty much. It's a bonus action, I think, or an action, one of the two. That's 10 hit points back to Curtis.
13 back for me.
But
I got nothing.
once he's kind of, do I see Lucy?
I would imagine so, because we were standing relatively close to one another originally. I guess that she probably just got knocked back and prone a few feet from the impact, taking the brunt of that. So she's just getting herself up and very disoriented at this point, and looking pretty bad.
Because the wild magic surge, he looks for Duran first.
Of course, that's fine.
Okay.
What?
What's
going on?
Sarah?
I'm gonna quickly go through Sarah's now, because it could be relevant immediately, and I know there was a lot. So, number 1, target has a secret name that, if spoken, will change their sex.
What is my secret name? I want you to put it in our chat, and if anybody says it,
okay,
we'll give the next viewer discussion. Give the chat, give the chat the chance to guess the name.
This is gonna
Get
get
those
interesting.
retweets out.
So wait, this is Sarah or this is Lucy?
This is Sarah.
Oh,
Okay.
gotcha.
If somebody says my secret name, I turn into a boy.
After each spell, sunlight is painful to the caster for 1d4 rounds. Okay, I'm
Good
gonna.
thing you're a fighter.
Right.
I don't
I'll
cast
say
any spells.
every time you're hit by a spell, every
Okay.
time you are affected by a spell that targets you specifically.
That's
Caster
great.
realizes that his left arm isn't actually a.
Wait,
My
Sarah,
left arm is all gone now. I've just lost my left arm.
Sarah's
in the
left arm
explosion,
isn't actually
probably.
attached. Oh shit!
Oh my god!
Oh, shit.
Oh god!
Sarah's
Left
left.
arm.
Okay, we'll get to this in a second. Anyone nearby and not wearing armor is attacked by huge. Whoa! What was that?
Oh.
I think the architect origin says £10 for a magic item. I'll put the item here in that for you to read for in a minute. I believe it is an assassin's blade. Oh, that could be dope. If only I could use.
If only you could use the blade.
Bladed weapons. An assassin's ice
man.
pick. It's an
We'll get
assassin's
to that in a moment. I will sort that out in a second. Anyone nearby not wearing armor is attacked by huge wasps. That's only Lucy, and again,
Oh,
God help
that
me.
is nature. That is nature. I'm so happy about
What the
this.
heck?
Next, weapon to wound target is crushed into a small cube. Okay, there has just been a huge explosion, and you have just been wounded, so we'll get to that. Someone nearby triggers a burst. When
Burst of flame. I don't know
Nearby-
why
I think they
Tommy
mean
made
another
that.
magic
Oh.
surge.
Next,
Yeah.
okay, someone nearby the target bursts into flames when he next crosses a bridge.
Next
Okay,
across the bridge,
cool.
yeah.
we had that once before.
We've had
I don't know
that
if you
before.
remember this, but it was the stable boy Zune
The
hired,
stable boy.
and you hired him, and then he burst into flame.
We're coming full circle, guys. Full circle.
Caster can't touch food with his hands. Okay, you are a barber. You refuse. You have been taught to use cutleries.
I don't know. I think I could go into shock from having lost one of my arms and just not wanting to touch things.
People who meet target for the first time point at him and laugh.
This
That's
is
gonna be
go over so
interesting.
well.
No arm, lol.
She was this close to becoming a good character. She had
Oh
her
my
moment
God.
with Gavin.
Caster turns invisible to himself, but not to anyone else. I'm going to change that ever so slightly. Sarah isn't going to be aware of how badly she is wounded, as her mind is going to be unable to comprehend the fact that she has just lost her fucking arm.
Oh my god.
And Target's head explodes if he is decapitated. That's so good. I'm so happy. Okay, so Grimdark Sirius. As all of this is happening, Sarah, no one is paying attention to you as everyone is panicking. But Sarah, you feel very bad at the moment. You feel there's like you can't. You're going into shock. However, Sarah interprets that, but you guys, the first person to notice Sarah is going to ring.
Mama? Hello?
Sarah, are you alright?
Lucy, as you
What?
check and like clean your glasses from soot and they're like cracked, you lift them
Yeah,
up.
they're.
Sarah is missing her arm from about midway up
Oh,
her
God.
bicep and is lying discarded on the floor a few feet away.
Alright, gonna scramble, run, whatever I can do to get over to her and just start tearing at some of my cloak to start binding that wound and anything to at least like get it stable. Oh, hold on, sweetheart. We'll do something about this. Are you alright?
What?
All things considered.
What?
Just
I see her
stay-
taking off her
stay with
clothes.
me.
And I'm just like, I don't want to go to bed, Mama. It's too early.
No. Do not go to bed. I'm gonna just kind of smack her on the cheek gently. Stay awake. Stay with me while I take care of this. Okay. Oh God, where is?
I'm gonna need a medicine check and
Yeah.
I'm gonna need Sarah, can you make me a death saving throw, please?
Oh,
A
boy.
death saving throw?
Wait, what?
I have 20. I have 28 hit points.
You have lost an arm. You are going to start bleeding to death.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh
Until
gosh.
someone can stabilize this, you are okay.
I tried. I tried.
On a 4, this is like again, Lucy. You're having the same thing. Your hands are shaking, like your hands are cut to ribbons from sort of like it, and there's just so much blood. There is so much blood.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
It's going to be okay. We're gonna get out of the rain.
Calvin, Curtis, are you two alright?
Yeah, I'm like almost passed out, but can I see them through the smoke?
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
can't
you
hear
can
them.
like they're like away from the initial explosion. So
I'm gonna kind of pull my way through the smoke and take a look at Sarah. What does she look like?
Sarah is missing her arm from about there. She is covered in small superficial cuts and everything like that. But you can see her arm is, the rest of her arm is intact. It's laying sort of on the floor a few feet away. But she is white as a sheet. And that contrasts sort of the blood that is all like pinpricks of blood all over her. She's in a very bad way.
I just did a personal roll to see whether Calvin was looking the right way, or if he would understand things. I rolled a 19. Would that be enough for me to natural 19, 24 perception for picking up that there's something dire wrong with Sarah?
Yeah, you spot this. You spot that Curtis and Lucy are panicking around Sarah, but as your proximity to the smoke, you hear a choked cough. It is very weak, and it comes from in the smoke.
A nat 20.
How close am I? How close am I?
Lucy as well.
Like, what's my distances from the distances from the smoke and distance from Sarah?
You are within 5 feet of the smoke, sort of calling into it. It's sort of like starting to spill out, but like directly where you're standing, it kind of chokes at the back of your throat, but you don't need to make a con save. You're not suffocating. You're as close as you can get without it starting to become saying you're going to need to roll for. Sarah is maybe about 30 feet away from you, and like on a 24, you see Lucy turn to Curtis, and as she turns side on, you can see that Sarah is missing her arm, and Lucy has blood all over her hands. Curtis is limping towards.
Immediately kind of shout, Calvin! Calvin! I'm gonna throw
help
her as well.
So, oh, never mind. Oh, is this touch? I don't know if it's touch. Quick second. Damn it, it's touch.
That's a huge 50-pound donation from Winfora. Josh knows.
Oh shit.
Oh my god, like a whole army of bears or
those
something.
words.
How many bears?
Not allowing his face sweat from.
Oh god.
There's words.
I am gonna dive into the smoke and see if I can try to get do the help right there, but then immediately, if I can yank whoever it is out of potentially burning to death, and then you're muted.
So you grab them, drag them straight out, and then the second they're clear, get to Sarah. Is that what you're saying?
And and actually, what I was thinking, if Duran is pretty big, and I'm pretty weak. Literally, I'm gonna, because I had my my lyre on me, my bandor. I'm gonna run in. I'm actually going to grab them. If they were coughing, I'm assuming they were awake or somewhat conscious. I'm actually gonna cast Fly on them to make them easier for me to quickly evacuate. Can I do that?
Yep. I'm also going to need two things. I'm going to need a 1d2 from Tia, and I'm going to need another death saving throw.
Oh my god.
Why me, buddy?
Oh boy.
This is real simple.
For one.
You have lost
One is
your arm.
number one?
You have lost your arm that has the mark of the Raven Queen on it.
Oh no!
It is laying on the floor. Not that Sarah is immediately aware of this, and I need another death saving throw.
How far away is she from me?
Oh my god!
30 feet.
Oh, 30 feet?
Oh, no.
Sarah, her legs start to give. Lucy, like, you can try and hold her up between you and Curtis. Both of you are massively injured, but she has lost blood to the point where she can't hold herself up now.
I scream out.
He's like ripped off his shirt and he's gonna try and like stop the blood pouring out from her arm because presumably it needs to be like held.
Yeah.
And credit success for Sarah from Andrew.
Curtis,
I yell out.
you can give me. I was going to say, Curtis, give me a medicine saving throw and medicine check. Sorry, and Calvin, what do you yell?
I yell out. If she's within 30 feet of me, I yell out, "Don't you do it, Sarah! Don't you do it!" And cast Healing Word, which has a 60
19
range,
on my medicine check.
and a 7 for Healing Word.
Calvin, you see Curtis basically like rips off his shirt, and under like his shirt is covered in blood. He is sort of like spotted. You can see like wounds that are still like blossoms of blood that are spreading across his chest. He is slick with blood and sweat. It's a ghastly sight. He looks like the Walking Dead, and he basically creates a loop, slips it over Sarah's what's left of her tattered arm, and yanks it tight. And Sarah, that hurts like that, but it's that kind of like takes your breath away kind of pain. And you hear Calvin's voice, and every other voice seems to fade. You just hear Calvin's voice, and you feel a little strength return to your legs.
Most holy goddess of death, fate and winter, your humble servant asks you to reveal your will. And she kind of lays back and closes her eyes.
Ellie's just gonna hold her steady as much as possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna
On Curtis's check,
hold her down.
her pulse is ragged. Like it is, her breathing is unsteady. But you have slowed the blood loss. If you get her on her side, so like the wound is in the air, it also you know that will make it harder for her to bleed out so quick. So I mean, you lift it up and put her essentially in the recovery position as she sort of drops into that deep shock.
What have I drug out of the fire, out of the smoke behind me as I'm running towards Sarah? That's basically
Give me an athletics check.
even with the fly on him.
Yeah. Give me an athletics check.
Okay. That's a nat 1.
He's impaled, and you can't tell what, but you can tell it's on fire because you can see the flame burning because you're about a foot away from it. And but you've got this solid sort of lump of a man. You try to pull back. I'll tell you right now, if you pull him, you'll do more damage to him, but he could asphyxiate in here, and you've got about maybe 3 seconds, and then you're going to need to start making sit checks to... So, like, instant, Calvin, you have a snap decision. What do you do?
I yank him.
You hear a sound that it would be a scream, but he doesn't have enough air left in his lungs because he's being asphyxiated. It just comes out as this horrible rattling hiss. But you drag him, and like you essentially almost fall back and then take flight and move as you drag him, and you almost crash into sort of where the pile of bodies is. But you get him free, and there is a figure next to you that is covered in smoke and soot. You don't have a chance, if you want to get straight to Sarah, you don't have a chance to look him over, but there is something that runs him through, and it is not a small something. It is at least a foot in thickness, and it is straight through his mid. It is bad.
Yeah, I just, again, triage mode. He's not going to suffocate in the next 30 seconds. I'm running across over now to Sarah. He's just, he's just running back and forth like bouncing from wall to wall. I don't even have something clever to say. He's in business mode right now. And I run over and like skid on my knees down next to Sarah. Can I grab the severed arm on the way?
Yes, absolutely. It's just beyond her, but you sort of like skip past her for a split second and almost like power slide to a stop next to it, snatch it up and get back. Give me a perception check as you do this real quick.
That's a nat 20.
Nice.
It still has a pulse.
Yeah. It's an old trick my poppy showed me once. I put the stump up against the stump of her arm, and
I scream.
This is getting a little loose with the rules, but action, lesser restoration, bonus action, healing word. To try to, I'm not trying to use two actions. I'm using an action, a bonus action. It is two spells, but in an attempt to basically use the arm as the way to whether it reconnects in a usable way or not, just literally to be the plug on right now the hole.
Roll me an Arcana check. Because you are taking the rules loosely, and you're trying to sort of fudge this with what magic you have at your disposal. It's going to be an Arcana check to see if you can. So,
I got a question. I have a nat 20 that I can spend, or do you want to see this be a roll?
I tell you what. On a nat 20. I'll allow this to help her in some way, but it might not give her arm back. It might just stem the bleed. I'll give it to you that you.
Which actually, truly, I mean, truly, Calvin knows it's beyond his ability to reattach an arm. This is it's basically a flesh bandage is kind of what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
I'll burn my nat 20 to just get her stable so that I can now bounce off of her. I mean, I'm going to jump back up.
Give me an Arcana to see if you can save the limb. Because you need a powerful cleric for this, as opposed to a bard who doesn't have,
So this is in addition to already burning the nat 20.
Oh yeah, nat 20, you've saved her life.
Yeah. Okay. This is to save the arm. Okay. Here we go. Not medicine, but Arcana. Right, because it's cleric. Got it. Come on. Oh, it's a 10.
Right, I'll give you this choice. Calvin, this is a day of hard choices very quickly for you. You can try it and reattach the arm. There's a chance that it will hold, but it will be dead tissue, and you will be attaching it to her arm. Do you want to put her through that?
No, I wouldn't. Like I said, if this has saved her life, we'll have the talk about us having to remove it later.
Okay, so you're not.
Because I need to run back over, because I've got another guy with a giant chunk of wagon through his chest.
Quentin's being a dick right now.
I'd say Calvin would just look at Curtis and be like, hold that right there. We'll have to talk with her about that later, but just keep her alive. And he goes,
I'll try and keep her
hopping off like a jackrabbit back the other direction.
Yeah. Curtis, you have now essentially, like, Calvin comes over. Calvin is moving so quick. You're struggling to track him with everything that's going on, all the chaos and like the amount of injuries everyone has sustained. Calvin's the only one who's sprite and quick on his feet and actually able to move around. Everyone else is like in various stages of shock. So we'll see, like, I want this scene with Curtis and Lucy over Sarah, who is just in absolute agony. How does this play out?
You're gonna be fine, Sarah. You're gonna be fine.
We've got you.
It'll help if you bite down on this. And I'm just gonna, like, grab something for her to, like, stop her from, like, biting off her own tongue.
You pick up, and it's, like, the nearest thing to you. You put it in her mouth. It's a piece of leather, and just as she, like, bites down on it, you realise that it's probably a piece from, like, a scabbard or a belt that's just come out of the pyre.
Mm-hmm. That's 3 nat 20s for tool school from Win 4, I think, buddy.
Thank you! I'm
gonna put it in there so she doesn't bite off her own tongue. Everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
You
all right.
think that we're gonna make it? You
Yes,
think that we're
just-
gonna
just-
make it to the coronation?
Of course we are.
Yes.
No one's dying today.
Just
What?
stay
Am I
awake.
gonna die?
No.
No, of course not. Just stay with us. Stay awake. You'll be fine.
What? Where's Rosie? Where?
Rosie's fine.
She hid. She'll be all right. She's very smart, little duck.
She takes up one of her hands and in kind of the rain and just in her delirious state kind of like starts reaching out and stroking Lucy's face and grabbing her hair kind of like she would with her mom when she was a kid. A much younger kid. She's still a kid.
Luckily, Sarah's vision is a little blurry at the moment from everything, so you are sort of running your hands down. But if Sarah could see properly right now, her fingers would be coming away caked in blood and soot and ash. As Lucy, you're in a bad way. You're not dying, but you are going to have, everyone is probably going to come out of this with scars.
Yeah, I'm gonna next. I've like ripped off some of my shirt to like put it onto Sarah's like stump.
Yeah.
To bandage that. And sort of realizing that we're both super like close to death as well, I look to Lucy and say, "Are you okay? Do you need a bandage?"
I've been better. I'll manage, I think, for a bit.
Like cut off.
How are you
cut off,
holding up?
like a sleeve or something, and like wrap it around a wound on her arm or leg or somewhere that's clearly been. Has she got like chunks of wood in her as well?
Yes.
Or is that just Duran? Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, like all of you are going to have like minor bits of shrapnel. Curtis, like as you're doing all this, as you take your shirt off, you will realize that you've got like just almost through your hip, just above it, you have got like a piece of wood about that long and like almost arrow thin that is just gone straight through and is just stuck in place.
And Charity Cake is a nat 1 to everyone, but 2 for Tia. Cruel, cruel man.
Oh.
I will.
Why?
I'll look towards Lucy and say, I'm gonna need to pull that out. That's no good inside you.
It's now really the time. I think I'll manage.
I can't have you passing out on me. I need you here to hold her.
All right. And Lucy's just going to fetch a piece of leather or some scrap from amongst her things and bite down. Do what you're gonna do.
And I'm gonna kind of like rip it out from her.
Give me another medicine check. Because Curtis is actually doing quite well with medicine, surprisingly.
He's got like a little bit of field, like just experience, I suppose, more experiential than actually formal training. It's a 15.
So you get it out. You do it quick. You know that. Try not to think too hard on this, but it is a piece of wood, and it is a broken apart piece of wood. Lucy, you're gonna have splinters through the muscle. That is going to hurt like a bitch. This is going to be a lingering injury. You know, cold, stiff in the morning, that kind of pain. But yeah, all of you are.
I like get out a hip flask and hand it to Lucy for some pain, and probably back to Sarah as well. Just make her drink some, so that they're feeling less.
Yeah, she'll take a big long swig of that, and just cringe. All right. I suppose I could get your help putting a bandage around this.
Yep.
So we can make sure she's all right. There.
And
Ow.
there you go. You're gonna be okay.
Thank you.
We're all gonna be okay.
What about you?
I got one
like
real bad here, and I can like show to my hip where there's this huge chunk of wood in me, and I look down there for a second, like you're gonna have to pull it out.
All right. Not very good at this, but hold tight. I'm gonna use one of my nat 20s so I don't blow this.
Lucy,
if I may.
Yeah, Lucy, you see it and you realize sort of there's only sort of like you need him not to be tense, because if he tenses up, which he's gonna do, so Lucy leans in and basically does the classic sort of 3, 2, and then sort of using like a rock, just slam it, slam like the flat of the rock.
Jared DK, you bastard.
You slam the flat of the rock sort of into the end of it, forcing it out the back, and you do it so quick, like, Curtis, this hurts like a bitch, but it's going to heal a lot nicer than the alternative.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Sorry.
Thanks.
Let's get you wrapped up.
It's good, thanks.
Sarah, darling,
Sarah.
are you all right? Are you with us? Say something.
What? Where else
Okay,
would
good.
I be?
Just stay with
Go
us.
sleep.
Stay awake.
I don't feel so tired anymore.
Good.
My-
Good. Where is
Good.
Calvin?
He's gonna see
What?
Duran.
And speaking of which, we're going to cut now to Calvin just a few moments ago. As Calvin, you get over to Duran on the other side of the bodies. Give me a medicine check. There's so many medicine checks here, but yeah, you guys... does anyone have proficiency in medicine?
No.
I have half
No.
proficiency because jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, yeah.
I want to do a thing again. That's an 18.
Okay. On an 18, he has essentially what looks to be one of the spokes of the wheel. Looks like it's run him through. It is, about sort of yay thick, maybe a little bit more, and it goes straight through. It is cracked. It is charred. Like it has like glowing embers where sort of like the wood has been burnt, and it goes just below his solar plexus through his midsection.
So it's wood, though.
Yes.
You know me, Josh. I like getting creative.
Okay.
I know that's got to come out of him.
Yeah.
Calvin's not very strong, but he's got a trick that he uses. He cast Shillelagh on the spoke going through him to allow him to wield it using his charisma instead of his strength. To try to pull it, just to pull it out.
I like it. Okay, I'm going to allow this.
So he starts to sing the song that he uses when he's normally imbuing his quarterstaff to make him be, since he's a weak guy, to make his attacks with his quarterstaff stronger. He starts singing that song as he grabs onto this spoke that's embedded inside of him, because he knows he's got to do this quick and pull it out. And so, just like his magic gets his quarterstaff speed, he's trying to use this magic to pull this out as quickly as possible and with as little as damage as possible.
Okay.
Come on. Nat 20.
Holy shit. On a nat 20, first things
So that's
first.
a 25.
You realize that he's still conscious, although how he's still conscious, or alive for that matter, is beyond you. He is blinking rapidly with one eye. The other eye is closed and probably gone. There is just blood seeping out of from beneath an eyelid, and you notice the eyelid isn't smooth, it is uneven and sort of from underneath. He is in a shit way. But you reach down and you slip your arm around it and just yank it back, and it flings back and vanishes into the smoke. And you see like the wound, it closes, like not massively, but just like it's no longer got this obstruction stopping the muscles from, but they push together ever so. But he has a hole. It doesn't go the whole way through him. It looks like pieces of it have come out the back, but you have a sickening moment where you see white and you see slick pink of his internals and bone.
So I put my hand down on top of him, and I hope nothing comes, because I'm gonna be all kinds of bottomed out of spells. I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds at level 2 on him.
Okay, give me that healing.
And then that's another D8 on top of that. So that it's 9 hit points, just to try to keep. I mean, this is Calvin just like, okay, got to get these outsides back on the inside. He literally like is scooping up his entrails and putting them in, and puts his hands on top of them, and just to try to get them, whatever, little bit of, just hold tight, I'll be back, and off like a jackrabbit again once he back over to Sarah.
He reaches out, and like a hand slick with sweat, blood, and ash all mixed together, almost forming like it's almost like paste as opposed to liquid, grabs you. He, like, Duran is a ridiculously strong man, but he slaps his arm against your arm, and like his grip is so weak, so frail, but he grabs hold of you for a split second, and he manages to very, very quietly choke out, "Is Sarah okay?"
On my way, getting here right now. And can I just sort of give him a big smile and be like, don't you worry, you just stay still right there, and we'll get you all sealed up like my mama's molasses. And can I give him bardic inspiration as I dive back the other direction? Don't know what he's going to use it for, but just in case.
That's also a someone or something to come and aid the party from Win 4. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a moment.
So I dive back over to...
Yeah, you rush back over, yeah.
To Sarah, how is she looking, knowing that I just triaged... I hedge magic the fuck out of her arm.
If she doesn't continue, like, you need healing. Give me a history check.
Me?
Actually, no, just intelligence, just straight intelligence. Yeah, just give me a straight intelligence. Yeah.
Can I ask what it's related to, just so I can decide whether or not it makes sense for me to burn it at 20? And this is the thing, I don't want to burn at 20 if it's not something I would that I would possibly know.
It's just see whether or not I will remind you of something.
I also want to thank Mr. Pokey for the 5,000 cheer, which is a monster riding a mount wielding a magic item. I'd like someone to roll a die, even if it helps odds it attacks. Let's make this interesting.
Okay, guys, it's not gonna be. Okay. It can't be me. I have like 5 nat ones. Okay.
Okay,
so, and one arm, and I'm an archer. I have 1 arm, and I'm an archer.
Okay. Sarah is out of this one. Curtis is out of this one. Calvin is out of this one. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it is let Lucy summon shit. Because it's always entertaining. So roll me a D20, and on an odds, it's against you. On evens, it's not. And you already have things coming.
Oh.
Roll me a straight D20.
You got it.
It's against you, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's 50-50.
The gods, they hate me.
So
I'll roll the
worst.
in check. Whether I don't know whether I'm remembering or not remembering. There's so much going on. So yeah, I'll roll the int check just to see. That's 16.
16?
Yeah.
You got given a load of healing potions.
Oh no, I have that.
They are still on your cart, safe and sound. None of them are damaged, and Sarah is going to need some, or she's going to need you to continuously heal her until like the damage settles.
Yeah, no, I actually do have down that we've got the healing potions. I think I put them in here. I'm sure I put them in here. I just got to find where they are on the new sheet. There it is, potions of healing. Yeah, we've got 8 of them. I would tell you at this point, Calvin knows they're there, but I think that he is still. I mean, our wagon's back a little bit because we walked in, if I recall.
Yep.
So at this point, I think he's still worried and he's in triage mode. So even though I read that we've got shit coming, Calvin's gonna be at this point just burning, healing, trying to get everyone. So here's the thing. I'm a little calmer now. Do I notice Lucy's condition?
You will notice everyone's condition. Everyone is fucked up. No one other than Sarah is touch and go. Sarah, since you've cast your cure wounds, she's going to be okay, but she's going to need, like, recovery.
Yeah, I think Curtis would say, like, as Calvin comes over, she needs your help more than us.
Yep. So, in that case, I'm going to, I'm going to dump it, and so I'm going to dump a level 3 cure wounds into her. Come on, big money. Oh, and another one. Oh no, and another one. 5. There we go. So 10, 13.
There's 13 healing on Sarah.
I know at this point it's not necessarily a hit point problem, it's a stabilization problem.
Yeah, you get the feeling like now, like you're at the point now where Sarah, like, isn't going to need your constant. It's more going to be about time or actual restoration magic.
Right.
She either needs a cleric and a bloody good cleric, or she's going to need time to heal. And we're talking days, if not weeks.
Yeah. I look at Lucy at this point. Well, actually, because I know that I've put some healing into Curtis, and Curtis looks like shit all the time anyway. So at this point, he's so banged up.
That's how we know you're friends.
Together, I mean, I know when Curtis is. Curtis can go a long way. He can drag himself around with 1 hit point. He's done it before. Yeah. I'm going to look to him and I'm going to go, there's healing potions in the cart. I've got to go back, work on Duran. And so I hop back over to Duran to just try to see what's happening with him. Actually, at this point, my goal with him is get him stable enough to get him further away from bodies, fire, all the nightmare that is where he's laying, where I figure I've left him laying at this point.
Curtis, give me a perception check.
Potion and tentacle wild magic. Yep, I know I've got the
10.
My tentacle. Okay. I don't remember my tentacle.
Curtis moves out of your line of sight, Calvin.
Sarah somehow regrows that arm. It is incredibly painful though. So
I've got something to work with that. I've got something that
can happen at £10. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've got something that can work with this. Okay.
Yeah, I rolled a 10 on my perception check.
Okay. Curtis moves out of your line of sight, Calvin. Curtis, you get to the car. You don't get any further. Calvin, Curtis flips end over hand and lands at the foot of the tree next to the building and appears to be unconscious. As I am going to, could you mark me down as having used one of my nat 20s, Will?
Sure, yeah.
And as you're standing there, you see him, something steps round the cart. There is a figure standing there, dressed head to toe in black, wearing robes with a hood up, his features obscured, or his or her features obscured, and has an arm outstretched as if he's just flung Curtis to one side. And he's now standing, he's no further than 20 feet away from you. You have Sarah, like, bloodied and a mess at your feet, and Lucy barely standing next to her, and this figure is going to start walking towards you.
I have 41 hit points at this point now. Can I try to stand and pull out my sword with my good hand?
Make me a con save.
I'm gonna use one of my nat 20s.
Nat
Do we
20s.
D2 it then?
Yeah, no.
Because I have so many ones.
Ooh,
Okay.
Yeah, D2 this. I like this.
If Sarah's standing under her own power, I'm going to just be ready to cast.
Sarah stands the fuck up. Despite everything, Calvin, she stands up and you see her go and she draws her sword, comes flashing out, and stands almost sort of between you and this figure that is approaching. The figure does not react in any way, just continues walking towards you.
So I see this figure. I think that he has done something to Curtis. And just in a rage, Calvin goes, "Not today." Sorry, that was Gavin.
Yeah.
No, Gavin.
So close.
The rage is here, ladies and
I don't
gentlemen.
know. It's like
Yeah,
what's
the rage
Calvin's
is
rage
here.
voice sound like? I don't know what Calvin's rage voice sounds like. No, you
Get mad.
No, sir, you don't. No, sir. And he casts Hold Person, and if I can use a nat 20 to lock him up, I would be grateful for that. I don't know if you'll allow me to use a nat 20 that way, because normally it's a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Roll me a d2, because you have more than one nat 20.
I have a nat one as well, yep.
Indeed.
And that, oh man, I've already said it. I was going to say, because in that case, I wanted to do the wisdom, but I already said it, so come on. Woohoo!
You reach out and you see the figure freeze in place, locked up. It is held for a single round, and then it starts making.
Right, no, I'm hoping is my good friend Sarah with a sword, because he is paralyzed, which means it is
Sarah?
advantage, auto crit, all that good stuff.
Sarah?
Yep. I mean, do I have dual wielding on this character? I can't remember. I'm gonna strike out with my. Oh, I only have one arm. I'm sorry. This is weird. I mean, you'd think I'd be used to only having certain limbs by now. Actions. There we go. Sword, short sword, bam. Okay, one. It's advantage though because he's frozen, right? Oh my gosh.
On a 15, I'll allow it because he is locked in place. Sarah?
I'm just gonna yell and charge at him. She's completely confused. And just the same way that Gavin yelled a few episodes ago when he was charging into battle, she kind of tries to summon that and just... Ah!
Sarah, you run up and just drive your sword forward, and you come you're now shoulder to shoulder with him. He is frozen in place. You feel your sword stop. You can't push forward anymore. But as you're shoulder to shoulder with him, you can see past his. You can see past him. Your sword is protruding from his back. It is coated in black, just almost like oil. You have run him straight through the chest. As any hit is a crit, so you just drive it straight through his chest. You don't hear any, like, wince, like, he doesn't... Maybe it's because he's, like, locked in place, but there's no reaction, like, it just straight through his chest.
That's interesting.
Like double the damage on a crit, right?
He has no weight yet. Like, you do a shed load of damage straight through his chest.
So, Tilsko, do you want to read out your wild magic?
Yeah, so my mild magic, any blood spilled in this area combusts on contact with water.
So, I'm gonna change this ever so slightly. As you drive it through him, as the blood drips off down the back of him and hits the floor, which is soaked in water because it's been raining for months now, you notice white smoke kick up, and you see the plant life around it die. Like, the grass begins to wilt and blacken as the blood drops on the floor, Sarah. And you can see your sword, as the rain is hitting it, is hissing.
I pull my sword out.
Yeah, you're level 5, right, Sarah? Yeah, we're all level 5, right?
Yeah.
You have 2 attacks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can give me
Yeah, you can hit him again.
Oh, whoa, 1 arm, 2 attacks, sorry.
You crit. You crit.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah, I rolled
roll.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
That's alright, you crit as you slide your blade again into him.
Sarah's in shock because she
time?
feels like she's in a dream.
Sarah, basically, you watch Calvin as she comes up and she basically just starts sliding her sword into his chest, just stabbing repeatedly. About sort of 5 feet to her right, Curtis is lying slumped and sort of awkwardly at the bottom of the tree. And you see her stabbing into him. Sarah, give me a con save. On a 16, you manage to pull your hand back. You are going to take, however, 3 acid damage as the black blood that is running down the blade now, as it comes in contact with the wall, it just begins to burn at your hand. Calvin, Lucy.
Well, yeah, just the day that Calvin's having. Yeah. I'm sure I don't know how quick I can get after casting the spell, but I sort of skid to a stop after the no sir, no you don't. I look over to Duran, it's like, hold on 1 more second, damn it. And he turns and he starts to run now towards Curtis and what's going on up here.
Okay, as that happens, Lucy, what are you doing? Because you're the one who hasn't acted so far.
Yes, I was going... Yes, I'm just going to wing a firebolt at him if I may.
Okay, as sort of like Sarah steps back confused as your hand burns.
Yes.
You pull back. Yeah, roll me to hit. You have advantage if you hit, you crit.
Alright. I need to remember how to do this. I haven't used my spells in so long.
Oh, you're out of an anti-magic set now. Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing how that helps.
That helps.
Alright, I can't get it to roll. Hold on, and I will just do this
remember
manually.
you have to press the hourglass to get it to open up, and then you can use the cast functions. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, over on the right, there's a little magnifying glass. You have to click on the magnifying glass so it opens.
There it is.
I forgot about it too. Yeah.
It's roll me a damage and then add an extra dice to whatever it is. You want to grab the damage dice.
There we go. Wait a second.
That's your take. Because if you did 22 damage, I'm fucking impressed. Damn.
Okay. Sorry. There we go.
Take your firebolt.
Found the damage
thing.
There
it is.
And roll me another one as you're critting as you. So
There you go.
Sarah, there is a streak of light past you, and it hits him dead center, and you watch as it splashes across him. He can't move. He doesn't scream. His clothes don't burn. However, you hit, or his robes don't burn. However, you hit him in the chest, and as you hit him, you see blood spilling down from Sarah. You're close enough. You can see there is a mask underneath his hood. It is black. It has a mouthpiece, and there is black seeping out and dropping on the floor. He's clearly been hurt. You have stabbed him twice through the chest and hit him with a firebolt.
Can I try
Be
to...
careful.
Oh, I'm not strong. Well, he's standing still. Can I just try and behead him?
Okay, as we prepare for that, Calvin, you were trying to...
Well, because I this is like one of the things I like to use a nat 20 for. Can I use a nat 20 just to be able to find the wagon spoke that I cast Shillelagh on?
No, it is back in the crater.
Okay.
It is way, like, you would have to run all the way back, and then you'd be back next
Okay,
turn.
I thought you said I threw it behind me, and I didn't know where it would have landed. But anyway, like I said, so if I can't do that, then I'm going to run forward. He's still frozen, yeah, by my spell?
Yeah, we're not in initiative order as such. We're just going off of you guys.
Gotcha. So yeah, I'll give him a whack with my quarterstaff, and
Okay.
oh, looks like I didn't put my quarterstaff in. So yeah, so it's just a d20 plus 2. $16.
On a 16, you hit. And you crit.
And that's for 7 damage.
Okay. As you do
And
that...
I just sort of get right up in his face, and I'm just like, I am about tired of this today, and just sort of just smack him.
What's your spell save DC?
My spell save DC
Yeah.
is for that. Stand by. It is 16.
16. Okay. So on that, as you hit him, he moves. As you smack into him, as he, on a 16 dead, beats your spell save and is no longer held. And as you hit him, you knock the mask off of his face, and he spins round slightly and then just slowly straightens up. He doesn't drop to the floor, despite the fact that he's been run through twice. He's been hit in the chest by a firebolt. You can see the place where he was stabbed is now charred as well. But he turns, and you see that his hair has fallen into his face. But as he turns, there is black dripping down his bottom lip and chin. He's pale-skinned. His long golden hair that flows down. He is an elf. A sun elf, it would appear. And he raises his one hand to Calvin. Calvin, can you make me a dex save, please?
No, this isn't who I think it is it? It wouldn't. You wouldn't.
It is 14.
On a 14, you're going to take some force damage. And you are going to be
Oh my
knocked,
god, it's Darth Vader. I knew it.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's Tavian.
You are going to take 21
Why is that name familiar?
force damage.
Is it from a weapon or a spell?
Spell.
Okay.
As he holds up his hand, splays his hand, and like a shockwave impacts you, sends you skidding 15 feet back, knocking you prone.
I'm up. He's hurt,
You are,
but I'm up.
Yeah. And as that
Son
happens,
of a bitch!
everyone who's conscious, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Is there any way for me to wake up?
Give me a.
Why did the
Give me a
music
one.
just change dramatically?
Give me a
Not
1d.
okay with what's happening right now.
Don't question. It's a 1 on the 1d.
Actually, I tell you what. As it's a 1, you can. I'll let you spend one of your nat 20s to just wake up on one hit point. Like
See that?
come around. Okay. Now, Curtis, as you wake up, what was your the weapon that was donated for you? Because I need to homebrew. I need to change the properties
It
of it so you can
should
build them.
scroll up in the chat a little bit. It should be there. It's the
It's
Assassin's Blade. I can push it again.
Assassin's Blade or something.
I'll actually repost it here. There you go.
Okay. Wait, where is it? Where am I looking?
Check the bottom of the chat. I've just reposted it for you.
I haven't got it. It hasn't come up.
Ah.
Weird.
Anyone else seeing that?
No,
Or
it
is
won't
it
come up
just-
for me either. Yeah.
No.
No,
Ah,
it's
I'll do it.
just.
You sneak
My
past.
magic
Or be
search
it-
from earlier, by the way, is target awakens each day, thinking that they are spent a month in snow. Forgot about it.
Okay.
I've whispered to you on Twitch, Josh.
Okay, fantastic. Give me a 1d10 for score, however, because you are going to get 1d10 worth of temporary hit
Yeah,
points.
that's what I was. Yeah, I didn't know if it was any attack or whether it was just a weapon. That was
No,
why I
it's
was
gonna be-
questioning.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's attacks. I thought it was weapon. So cool. Yeah, let me get a D10 worth of healing.
So before we do more, would I be able to cast one more spell at this guy?
He's going to do one other thing. But first, I can't read you a whisper. That's really weird. It's you.
Oh my god, do I even exist? Who am I?
You did. Who am I, Gabby? Okay.
There is no will.
Text it to us? I don't know.
I
Like,
sent it to you on Twitter now, so and I'll send it in the group chat as well.
Somewhere.
I got it.
Somewhere.
I got it there.
Okay, cool.
okay.
Who am I?
Who am I?
Okay. So, you get 4 temporary hit points, Calvin, as sort of like anger and fucking rage at what's just happened sets in, sort of taking off some of the damage. I mean, you still hurt, but you sort of you take it and you put it to one side. And he's going to step forward, and he's going to look. He looks at Sarah, and he's just as a free action going to say, "You have something that does not belong to you. You will return it now." And Lucy, you can do whatever it is you want, but he's not advanced any further. But he tells Sarah,
All right.
Thanks, Jairus.
I think that you can more
okay.
like fuck off, mate.
Oh, Sarah. So stop me if I can't do this, but I would like to try to cast web, but basically center it on him
Okay.
rather than the area that he's occupying.
Yeah, that's fine.
Basically just snare him with it somehow.
As you hold your hand up, how does your web sort of look?
Probably just going to manifest in the air and kind of spring up around, and just sort of weave itself around him like a skein.
As like the webs come forth and sort of like come to sort of close like a huge petal, like of a flower, almost like a blooming flower in reverse. He makes a cutting motion through the air with his hand, and your magic is counterspelled as he snatches it from you.
Bastard.
Oh.
And he
Has Lucy
slowly
cast a spell
turns-
this season? Like, poor girl.
And he
With
slowly
magic
turns
zones.
and he glares at Lucy. Curtis, you come round, leerily blinking, and realize you were struck, and that was the last thing you remember. Someone was by your carriage. You are slumped, sort of propped up against the tree, and a robed figure that looks to be, you can just see blonde hair coming out of the black hood and sort of robes. He's standing, he's in front of you, you're to his left. He's facing an armed Sarah, one-armed Sarah, who has her blade, which is currently dripping with acid. Sarah, you will notice your blade is starting to no longer be so straight and level, almost as if it's being corroded.
I have another sword,
Lucy,
I think.
Lucy is facing
Okay.
this guy.
So I kind of wake up. We also have a viewer decision at this point, Josh.
A viewer decision. Okay.
Oh boy.
As stated earlier, I'm going to need to know, what is Sarah's secret boy name?
Don't we come up with a name?
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
Oh
And these are finding out what is Sarah's secret name, boy name. Okay, whilst that is happening.
Do not say no! No!
Duran! She's the other Duran!
I'm fucking...
Duran!
I'm fucking done!
Oh my god. No.
So, okay, this guy is in
Yes,
front of
this
me
is
and behind him. I'm gonna try and sneak up on him and bury my ice pick in the back of his skull.
Okay.
Okay.
Roll me a stealth.
Do you want a stealth? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, as you're
Come on,
let's
Curtis.
See, be useful, Curtis. Be useful. That is no.
He
Well,
spots you immediately, and he just raises his other hand towards you. He doesn't turn his gaze, but he just holds it outstretched, as if warning you off. You can still make an attack if you want.
Yeah, I can still make an attack against him. With the. Is he still held?
No. As
Okay,
he just
Okay, then I'm still gonna make an attack against him. Do I have double second attack?
No.
Rogue? No.
Nah.
Unless you've got a second weapon, which is
Yeah,
offhand. As you come in to swing towards him, he reaches out and he basically backhands the strike out of the way.
I bonus action disengage.
Yeah. Like,
so I
and
like come in, try and swipe, and then like run away again.
as like you swing, as almost like he almost clutches you by the throat, and you pull back, but he turns slightly to look at you, and you also see this elegant face, like sort of spattered with black, and he looks to Sarah. You have one chance to hand it over, or I will kill all of your friends before me.
What is it that you think that I got? Hmm?
Crap.
Don't listen to him, Sarah. It doesn't matter.
Did you say a crab?
You can take the
crown.
You can take
Oh, sorry,
She
the
had-
crab. What? The crab. Give me the crab.
Those hors d'oeuvres we stole all the way back in episode 2.
Give me the clam chowder, or else.
I know food is like a rarity here, but come on.
I'm really hungry. I've been craving crab.
You can take the cold from me, crown from me cold dead fingers. Fucking asshole. She goes to swing.
Okay. Alvin, you stand back up.
Yes, I do. And
Why isn't
I
that 20? Oh, he's no longer stationary, right?
I just do one thing as loud as I can. Here, pick, and call tall wheel charge attack. Charge attack with those nasty ass claws. Charging claws. Can I give him my nat 20? Can tall wheel
Yes,
just
you can. Yes, you
Oh my
fucking
God.
can.
Can we do it?
The cavalry comes in.
As suddenly
The pig is
from
gonna
his
save us.
right hand, from his right hand
The
side,
Calvinry.
no one expects the ginger hogzilla clawed pig.
as Suddenly, he is hit. And Curtis, you have that satisfaction. Just as he bitch slapped you across the clearing, suddenly something hits him at hip level, because Tall Squill was fucking tall.
Oh yeah.
And he rams into the side of him with these tiny little tusks, and he flips over his back, slamming into the ground and rolling to one side, as he's going to take some damage. As on a nat 20, he'll take damage. He takes 19 bludgeoning damage from Tall Squill just hammering into him. He flips end over end, he comes crashing down, and you hear something. What languages does everyone speak?
Common,
anyone
Dwarvish,
speak
Elvish,
Celestial?
Infernal, Sylvan.
Yeah,
Common
all those,
Dwarvish.
basically.
Okay.
Common Elven.
Just a couple of languages.
Calvin, you hear something that you don't recognize the words, but you know the language via association. It is not infernal. It is its distant cousin. It is abyssal. Whatever he says. And he is fucking furious. He snarls these words out.
Can I? Oh, is he? Is
I'll let you use your
Colin Tall
bonus
Squeal
action.
my turn, or do I still have an action?
I'll let you bonus action that, so you still have an action.
As an action, I hit my. Cinematically, I'm hoping he fell prone, but if he didn't, it still will work. But if he falls prone, especially,
Yeah, he's prone. He's prone.
I hit my Bandalore and cast Entangle. That as he hits the ground, that all the vines reach up around him and pin him to the ground.
You see him bring his hand up to like slash through the air, but he's prone and landed hard, and he's not going to be able to counter spell. As he's going to have it come in. What's the save on it?
DC 16.
Yeah, what save is it? Is it
Oh,
Dex?
I'm sorry. It is a Strength. I'm thinking he's a caster, so maybe he's weak.
When I get a chance, I'd like to cast another spell.
He
Change.
tears them to shreds. And I mean, like, as he does, he rips up chunks of the earth and flings them to one side with a terrifying display of strength. Like, genuinely, like, he does not look like he should be that strong in any way, but he shreds it around him. And you see him start to get to his feet, cursing violently. And everyone give me a perception check.
It's 24 for Calvin.
That's a 24 for me as well.
Okay. I'm gonna roll this one. Holy shit! As he gets to his feet... Oh wait, it would be a disadvantage, hold on. Damn. As he gets to his feet, he snarls and he pulls himself up, and then something hits him just off midsection. And Curtis, you're the closest, and you've got the best angle on this. Everyone else, you'll see something like appear on his chest. It flew past you guys, but Curtis, given your angle, he has a spear lodged in his chest. Who rolled
Rock
what
and
for
roll.
perception?
24 total for
24,
Calvin.
that
24 as well.
That came from directly behind you. As you turn and glance past your shoulder, Duran has managed to get to his feet and hurled a spear at this guy and managed to hit him. And is just like, his legs are shaking, he can't see properly, he's rolling at this, but he's blind in one eye, but he's managed to, from the pile of bodies, pick one of the spears up and just thrown it past you, burying it into this guy's shoulder. And like, all chaos kicks off as you guys will hear, everyone who rolled above 15 will hear in the distance what sound like wall horns, but they're oddly distorted. And anyone who rolled above a 20 will hear that they come from the south. And they are getting close quickly. Calvin and Curtis. Actually, I'm going to get just Curtis, as Calvin noticed who threw the spear. Curtis, you see there are birds approaching, like a huge flock of birds that are sweeping forth from the south directly towards you guys.
Crabline from Dunland! Do I know how big these birds look? I mean, do they look like, fucking seagulls, or are these like
they
the eagles
they look bigger than normal. They don't look necessarily eagle big, but they look big. And this guy is gonna reach up and he grabs the spear and yanks it free and just breaks it in his hand. You see like the head fall off as the shaft splinters in his grip. And as he opens his hand, almost like kindling just falls out. And he looks at you, Sarah. And he takes a step forward. And then he freezes. And there is another figure who steps out of thin air. Looks to him. The guy is wearing similar robes. Grabs him. And he looks suddenly panicked for a split second, then angry, and he extends a hand towards you, Sarah, and you see him summon darkness magic, and you see it is aimed directly at you. Whatever he's about to cast is probably necrotic and probably very nasty. And then he's pulled back, and in a flash, both of them vanish before he can cast.
Counterspelling that, if I may.
Okay. Give me a counterspell.
Okay.
Yeah, what she needs to know what level, right? Or
no,
you just roll it, and then he knows because of what he cast, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to roll.
If it's above a 3, if it's above a level 3.
Yeah, it's above a level 3. It's a
then it's 10 plus the level of the spell, right?
Do you have any nat 20s? Do you have any nat 20s?
I have one. I have one.
Roll me a D2.
Yeah, you've got nat ones too. Do the D2, let's see how it goes.
Looking for 2s.
Okay. With my luck,
looking for the 2.
No pressure. It's gonna be fine.
No pressure.
Just like a super big deal, but don't worry about it.
I need to remember how to do this.
Not like we've needed to cast spells this entire campaign.
Well, it's fine. Did I do that wrong?
Chance of redemption / die space 1d2. /
Yeah, slash.
Yeah, /
Yeah. Tried that.
I was doing the exclamation earlier too for some reason, but it's / die. Yeah.
Yeah, space.
Die.
Why didn't you roll a D2? I was doing / It's not working.
I will.
You gotta do a space.
Go ahead. Oh, okay.
There you go. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
The cheese.
Can you make me a con save, Lucy?
Sure.
As he sees
You're not going with them.
cast,
She is not going with them.
This will be
as he
fine.
sees you go to cast, and as you cast, he's going to shift his target to you.
Cool.
Come on, anchor yourself. Oh, Nikes.
No.
I'll be
How many
fine
hit
next week
points?
with a new character.
Lucy, how many hit points? 5?
5.
How many? No, total. What's your max?
Total?
hit-
29.
Oh boy, that's the worst question. What's your max?
That's a lot of dice I just saw rolled.
How
I just
many-
saw
That's a lot of dice.
How many hit points do you have?
Total?
Currently,
What's your max? Yeah, maximum.
my max is 29.
You, Andrew.
Did he just one-shot you?
By 3 hit points and some terrible rolling, you are not instantly perma-killed. As you are hit, he moves his hand, points a single finger at you. Lucy is flung back in a sudden burst of black shadow that hits her in the chest, and Lucy loses all color in her skin. Her lips turn tinged black, her eyes roll back in her head, and from where you were struck, your veins darken to pitch black throughout your body, spreading as you crumple to the floor, very much down. Thankfully not instantly killed, but you are going to need to start making me death saving throws pretty fucking quickly. As
Okay.
Oh no!
and both of them vanish.
Do I see this?
Yes. She lands.
I mean, actually, she knocked it back all the way to like kind of where I am.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right into next week's episode.
Tell me when you want me to roll those saves.
I dropped to the ground, and just seeing this blackness and whether it's gonna work or not, I saved a level 2 spot just in case. I have. I don't know if it's strong enough, but I cast Lesser Restoration on it just to stop the spread.
Okay. You stop the spread, and you watch as the mark on her chest. To give you an explanation, this has essentially changed the pigment of her cells in her chest. Lucy, you have a black spot on your chest that is going to take a greater restoration to remove. And going out from your, essentially your heart, for the sort of a few, maybe sort of 5 inches in every direction, every vein and artery is pitch black, like complete jet black. But you stop the spread and stabilize her. And we are out of combat for the moment, but there is a huge wave of creatures coming down upon you. They'll be on you in about 30 seconds. Curtis has spotted them.
Inside! I'm gonna run to Lucy and like try and pick her up if she's not already.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over and try to grab Duran, or at least help get Duran under his shoulder. Yeah, get
Duran
under his shoulder to try to haul him in.
What are the creatures that are running towards us?
They're not. They're flying.
They're flying.
There's a lot of them.
I assume we're going up to this building up to the north.
The one just above you. So in here.
Could I summon an army of ghost ducks to try and intimidate them all? I'm not even joking.
Well,
interesting.
I mean,
and you play one-handed.
Oh.
I can fucking try.
Give me a performance check at disadvantage.
Oh man.
She doesn't have to play it well, right?
So
yeah,
Josh,
I just gotta.
Yeah.
I claim that we put 2 and 2 together about this being druids last time, didn't we? And these are birds flying at us.
The bodies, yeah, the bodies were druids.
Yeah, with war horns. Calvin. Oh, I've got Duran with me. He's still going to go in with Duran then, but
I'm gonna put Lucy
I think
on
we'll be
this bed
saying,
yeah.
Duran collapsed on the other
we're
bed.
either dead, or it's the druids and they're pissed off at people who's not us.
All the windows, doors. I'm gonna go to shutting any.
We're not going to survive. We got to hope that they're on our side or surrender. And Calvin's going to try to get by Curtis to walk back outside to try to like all but flag him down like a motorist on the highway of just like, help us.
How does Curtis react?
You going to block me?
I wouldn't block him, no. I'm pretty close to the door. This is life and death.
Okay. Calvin, you step out as what preparation? Curtis, you're trying to barricade. There's furniture in here. This building wasn't ransacked. You and Duran searched this. What was only about 10 minutes ago, you were in here searching. Maybe 15. And suddenly, like, there's now blood everywhere. There's chaos. There's smoke. Like, it's sort of like in the air. It's a completely different situation. But are you just like moving stuff up, like pushing like chairs and stuff, blocking the entrance?
Yeah, it's going to be shuttering windows, blocking everything off, because Calvin can have his go, but if he's wrong, then I want to at least buy us some time.
Sarah Duran reaches for you, tries to grab your hand.
I'll take it.
and he doesn't have the strength, but you can feel him trying to pull you close.
What are you doing, you big idiot? You always slow us down, she says, and she tries to move with us.
He like, you can barely, like, he doesn't appear to be able to emote so well on his face, but he brings you close, and he says, hang in there. God.
You hang in there too. Not done with you yet. I haven't gotten me pound of flesh yet.
He looks down and at like the gaping wound in his stomach, and he just manages like the quietest like chuckle, but it's filled, like, almost chokes on the blood in his throat as he. Lucy, you have been laid down.
I forgive you.
On the bed.
I forgive you. Just
Give me an
live.
insight check. Give me an insight check, Sarah. On a 28. You see tears form in his good eye, and he gets a renewed strength and rips your hand. It's not strong, like you could pull away, but he grips your arm. You see that gets to him on a whole level you weren't like. You realize on a 28, he doesn't really care about, like, he's focused entirely on your well-being, despite the fact that he's bleeding so heavily.
You're such an asshole. Let's go. Move your feet, soldier.
Is he standing still?
No, he's down on the bed. He's been run through. He's lost a whole load of blood. How he managed to stand up and throw that spear is beyond you, because I'll tell you now, it's a nat 20 is the only reason he managed to stand the fuck up. But he is like... Is
he gonna die? When I look at him, is he clearly dying?
Potentially, Calvin could save him. If
like, I think Calvin is like, pretty spent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, Sarah, help me here, and it's trying to like pull down a piece of furniture across the windows. I'm gonna say, Calvin's out there. He's gonna try and help us, but if he's wrong, we're gonna need to barricade up in here.
All right.
As you guys begin blocking any possible entrance with anything you can lay your hands on, Calvin, you step out, and over two smoke spires, one much heavier than the other, and surrounded by carnage, you come out, striding out into the rain, and above you there are eagles descending. Now they're closer. You notice that they are not eagles, they look like hawks. They look massive. There's a few owls there as well, and there is someone riding one of them, the lead one.
So Calvin does what he does. He's only on 4 hit points with a couple bonus. Bloody, limps out into the road, but he's a performer, and pulls out his bandolier, looks up into the sky and to the immortal masterpiece that is Heart. Heart's all I want to do is make love to you. He goes, it was a desperate night when you flew into sight. We're standing in the road, no weapons, no spells, and continues on pleading for help from the flying.
As they come in, and it looks like they're going to collide with you. Like, you have that moment where you probably have to close your eyes or tense up expecting, but at the last second you are hit by this huge gust of wind as this lead, what is an owl, just brings its wings up in a huge sweep and manages to slow just before crashing into you and lands hard in front of you. And it pulls itself up. As it does, a figure drops down off the back, It is a human, and he is an armored or armed. He has a knife, but it looks like almost like a utility knife as opposed to a nut, like a weapon. It's made of sort of wrapped, like it's a wrapped antler hilt that is bound, and it looks to be made of flint. He is dirty and grubby, and he looks... He doesn't look immediately threatening. He doesn't look like he's here to kill you. The rest of the birds begin to circle above. A few of them land nearby, and true enough, the ones that land shift, and you watch as they fall into humanoid forms, their bodies shrinking in on them, feathers receding into skin, and they end up as sort of crouched, dotted around the village are figures that look to be elven, human, and a few others.
We're in need of desperate... Sorry. We're in need of desperate aid. Thank goodness you fellas flew in. I know there was some kind of crazy battle here. We found the bonfire with your kin over there.
If you're in need
Place
of
was
desperate
trapped.
aid, you're in need of desperate aid. Bring your friends out. It's not safe here.
Can I peek out the window? Because I definitely
like
hear
there's
them
like
going in.
there's like basically like a crack between what is essentially like a chair you've pushed up.
Mm. I'll fling open the door and say, "Get in here! They're dying."
He suddenly looks at you surprised, and he turns and looks to the creature he rode in on, which has revealed itself to be a female wood elf, and she reaches down, puts her hand on a axe that's on her hip, and he holds out a cautioning hand, and they look angry, other than this human who looks... all of the rest of them are armed and armored. He just looks like a commoner.
Risking an attack of opportunity, even Calvin, hearing Curtis's voice snap like that, hearing the tone in it, Calvin starts to run. He's got... I got just a tiny bit of juice left, and I'm like a jackrabbit, goes hopping across again. I'm coming. He is exhausted. He is limping, but he is going to, if it's even by sheer act of will, throw himself in and get close enough to be able to cast on whoever needs this spell to be
Duran
cast
is
on.
definitely the one who is dying right now. He has already saturated the bed with blood.
Can I get to him to touch him, or am I going to have to yell at him?
No, you can get to him.
So
Curtis flings open the door.
I'm gonna bark at the elf who's here as well while he's doing this. Get in here!
And I hit a cure wounds on him at level 1 because it's what I got. 6, so that's 11.
You come over and you place your hands over the wound, sort of trying to will it to close.
Get the guts back inside him. I told you. Hold that shit inside. Come on.
As you put your hand on his stomach, you have a mist of blood as he coughs, just sprays across sort of your face and arm. And Curtis, you yell at the elf. She looks to the human once again, and he just flicks his wrist, sort of almost in a scolding fashion, as if to get in there. And she looks dejected about it, but she rushes in after and takes one look around the room, and there is a lot of anger in her eyes, but she comes over and she moves up so she's shoulder to shoulder with Gavin and places her hands across Duran's wound over Calvin's hands, and she adds her healing magics to it, trying to save his life.
You're going to make it, you old fool.
And as that all happens, Curtis, I'm going to say Curtis, you are left sort of unable to really help as other elves come over, and these are wood elves, and they tend to the individuals who are on the beds and the most drastically injured. One of them rushes over to Sarah, and he like looks you up and down, looks at your arm, which is just hanging there limply, and like is not like you have no control over it. It is still agonizingly painful, and there's a ragged sort of, it's still bleeding around the edges. And he comes over and he clasps his hand around the place where your arm was sort of almost severed, and you feel sort of some of the damage begins to knit itself back together. How effective it will be, we'll see. And as all of this is happening, Curtis, you are approached by the human who just looks around, and he looks a little shocked by sort of the state of you guys. And what happened here?
An explosion. Everyone, we walked right into it. Something blew up, I'm not sure what. And I point towards Duran and says he got the worst of it. It was right by when it went.
He looks grimly. Now you're close enough, Curtis. He has an amulet hanging from just a bit of rough, sort of like a leather strap around his neck. The amulet is of the New Freefields Coalition. And as you look around, you will see that all of them have this particular amulet. They're crude, they're rough, but they're present.
You're alive then. All of you, we thought you were dead. You abandoned this place?
He hesitates, and the elf takes her hands off Duran and almost looks like she's going to grab Curtis, and he sort of steps between the two of you and says, "Enough people have already died."
What happened here? What happened to the prince?
For the first time, she speaks. We were going to ask you the same question. This is not the time to do this. We have to get them out of here. They come back. More blood will be spilt. We need to pull back from this place.
If you can give us refuge, then we'll come with you. We'll owe you a great debt.
All right. And he steps outside, and you hear him shout out in a language you don't recognize. It's almost a mixture of animal sounds mixed with sort of whistles and chirps. It's almost sort of like sharp, shrill, coded. And together, the groups coalesce together, forming up around where you guys have clustered, and everyone is going to be picked up who can't walk. Duran, Sarah, they are going to try and carry you. Do you protest?
I just point to Duran, shake my head, and I'll walk out the door.
They lift the bed out, carrying Duran on the bed. And
good luck, soldier.
Only person he looks at is Sarah, and you can see he's still got tears streaming down his face.
I'm gonna stay by the bed with him.
He reaches out for your hand as if he's trying to hold onto it for support.
I'll grab it.
And he tries to pull you in again to say something. You can see like words forming, but you can't hear it over all the noises around.
Big dummy, it's time to shut up now. You never know when to shut up, do you?
Couldn't let anything happen to you.
told you I forgive you. My what?
Father would never forgive me.
Oh, my dad! Is he alive? Where is my dad?
You see his eyes lose focus, and he's trying really hard to cling on, but he just manages to nod his head very slowly as his eyes seem to roll back as he loses, and he's still clutching your hand. You still feel a pulse through his hand, but he's lost too much blood to be conscious at this point, and it's touch and go.
Curtis?
Yes.
He knows my dad. My dad might be alive.
I know. I turned to
Why
the.
didn't you tell me?
I don't know why he didn't say, Sarah. I turn to the nearest elf and I say, "That man dies. Someone is paying." You're mute.
The human nods gravely to you. What's your name?
Curtis. Curtis Fearson.
He reaches out, extends a hand for shaking.
I shake.
My name is Arvin. Arvin Bale. Welcome to the new Freefields.
Why does that name sound familiar?
We know Arvin. We know Arvin.
All right.
guys
Why do we know
know
Arvin? Why do I know his name?
From the first season, he was one of the original
First
commanders.
episode, like
Tavian
episode
and
1,
them,
season
yeah.
1.
In
not
season
remember
1, so I will, as you've remembered, season 1, he was one of the 3 commanders: Tavian,
Yep.
Ursian Porter, and Arvin Bale. Arvin Bale was a farmer.
Bale.
He was a farmer. He was a representative of the new Freefields. He wasn't a soldier, but he was in charge of ensuring supplies and their dignitary to the Alliance. He was the only person who would deal on behalf of the new Freefields Coalition with the
You
war.
merely adopted the farm. I was born by it.
Raised, molded by
Arvin Bale. Okay. So would I know who this guy is just based on his name?
You can roll me everyone who was part of the war, which is pretty much everyone who's conscious. Roll me a history check.
Okay.
High DC because he wasn't the most well known, but
11.
new.
Do I have any nat 20s left?
Yes.
I will use a nat 20 and I will roll the D2 for it.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh,
No,
what?
that's because it's
What?
a D6. Yeah.
Because it's a D6. 1, 2, and 3 are a 1.
Low.
A 4, 5, and 6 are a high.
Oh.
On a 1, you're pretty sure that A, Duran is going to die, and 2, you're pretty sure that these men are not friendly towards you. You don't know them. You don't recognize them. You've heard some pretty twisted, horrible things about the new Freefields, Sarah. They're in your land, like somewhere out there. If you head south, is your home. It's out there.
I shake this man's hand, not knowing
Yeah.
who he really is, but seemingly he's offered us friendship and refuge, which is all I really care about right now. So I'll shake his hand.
Are we kind of like out of the building yet? Because otherwise, I think Calvin
you're being
after.
carried out, yeah.
Yeah, because Calvin probably after healing and just because of how his last what probably was amounted to only 10 minutes or whatever has gone from the explosion to now of him running back and forth in distress. I think once they sort of came in and started taking care of things, he just sort of basically sat with his knees up against his chest, sort of leaning against a wall with his head back until finally, someone kind of came in, helped pick him up by the armpits. I think he's just finally, he's just dumped pretty much all of his magic, all of his running back and forth. He used pretty much every charge in his magical thing, he's done.
You have smoke in your eyes, you have sweat, you have blood, you've got that stinging sensation, everything hurts. Your ears are kind of ringing from all the chaos and the impacts, and you have a concussion. Like,
I'm on 4 hit points.
Yeah. Lucy, as you are brought out, one of them comes over. He's essentially pretty much almost looks like at first that he's naked, save his armor. He's not wearing like undergarments, so he has like leather straps around his legs, and rough hide sort of chest piece, and sort of greaves. But like, he's incredibly free and liberated, and he has like tattoos that are done more henna style, if you know what I mean. That sort of old school with sort of tattoo needles, so like, you know, mixed pieces of like trees and bark and everything. And he has tattoos that are covering his body, and he reaches down and he looks at you with, there's no recognition in his eye. You look completely alien to him, and he looks pretty fucking alien to you, but he puts his arm around you to hold you steady as you've sort of pretty badly banged up, and says, "Can you walk?"
Maybe I can try. And she'll try to get to her feet.
He lifts you up.
You tell me how successful that is.
He lifts you up, you get to your feet, your legs are shaking. He says to you, "You are magic, yes?"
Yes. More or less. What was it?
You ever flown before?
No.
And he steps outside with you, says, "Let all your pain fall behind you." And he starts to shift, and you watch as his arm, he lets go, and he reaches his arm around you, and it extends out, and you watch as feathers sprout from his arm, and his hands just become huge long claws as he shifts into this huge bird that seems to sort of wrap its wings around you. And very carefully you feel a large talon close around your whole body, not like biting into you, but you are lifted carefully, and there is a sudden rush, and you feel G's like hit you for a moment as he takes off initially, and everyone else watches as he's not the only one who does, as the rest of them begin to shift, all but Arvin, who waits for the female wood elf, who have quite a lot of anger in her eyes and didn't seem to take kindly to Curtis. She shifts and he mounts up. And the rest of you, Calvin and Curtis, you are given the option to ride. The rest of you are going to be carried as they turn into huge hawks, the size of horses, and owls, again, sort of size of the carriage. And all of you will watch as the ground drops out from beneath you. It's the first time, for I imagine almost all of you, you see the world dropping, shrinking. You feel air, you feel cold air rushing against you. You see the smoke, you rise above the mushroom cloud. The village suddenly becomes sort of tiny dots with smoldering embers burning that quickly fade beyond your vision. And you all get a chance to look out and see in every direction there are rolling green slopes. You see the wind coming through, and there's rain sort of pelting you, and it's cold up here, but you can see the wind rushing through the trees. You can see in the distance settlements. You can see fires burning from campfires and villages and chimneys. You see Rivercroft from the air. Beautiful expanse of rolling green hills and plains as far as the eye can see. In the far distance to the south, there is this huge looming forest, as the Scopsford Forest sits there, unchallenged, untainted, unmoved by the outside world. Far to the north, and further even still to the west, you can see the mountain range extending out. In the east, the volcano, with smoke still coiling out, despite the fact that it last erupted 10 years ago. You can see this massive mountain, bigger than anything you can comprehend, and the mountain range to the east, where so much pain and hurt for this world came. And as you climb high enough, for some of you, it will be the first time you have ever seen the ocean, as you can see it glittering like a jewel in the distance. And those of you who are critically wounded, everyone, I'm going to say Calvin and Lucy, you're okay, but Sarah and Curtis, you are barely clinging on to consciousness as you fall into a deep, much needed sleep.
I pull the Aragorn.
You slump forward, holding on.
Slump forward on the horse.
Yeah.
And the eagles, you've got me doing it now because of Lord of the Rings. The birds turn and bank and head south. And those of you still conscious will watch as the forest begins to grow. It takes some time. Feels like days, but it's hours as these birds move incredibly quick. You guys who are unconscious because you have passed out from exhaustion, but not been downed in combat or anything like that, you can roll hit die if you want. If you guys want to sleep or try and sleep whilst you're flying, anyone who's still conscious, you can also sleep and take a short rest. You won't be able to get the benefits of a long rest because you can't really get comfortable. It's not really viable. You will need to rest at some point when you land, but anyone who wants to recuperate what little you can, as for the first time in a little while, there's no chaos, no carnage happening.
Yeah, I'm back to 20 out of 24. Oh, sorry, 24 out of 28. After that heal from Calvin.
From that heal from Calvin and the magic potion, I'm at 41 out of 44.
Nice.
After that rest. I just don't have an arm that works.
Yeah. As you are heading out, you begin to fly. It's a long time before you realize that you are not losing altitude. You are going to start passing over the forest. The trees are so impossibly tall, very similar, in fact, to trees. A tree in particular that you recently encountered at the tavern. These are a mixture of trees, including redwoods that tower some, maybe half a kilometer to a kilometer high. They're the oldest trees in anywhere on the continent that is known. The Scopsford Forest is like the heart of all nature in this world. Everything supposedly grew out from this point. It is sacred. It is. Anyone from Breck, in fact, all of you share a border in your homeland with the Scopsford Forest, and all of you will know that it is a place that outsiders are not permitted. It is wild. It is untamed. It'll take the life of anyone who doesn't understand the culture, the ways of the forest. And the people there live a harsh and an alien life. It is completely unlike anything you'll find in any of the other kingdoms. But you progress forward nonetheless, getting closer and closer, as eventually, finally, after having traveled for maybe half an hour to an hour without sight of the ground beneath you from all the canopy, you begin to descend towards the trees. Up ahead, there was a break, a clearing, and the telltale wisps of smoke that rise up. As you land down past trees that have existed long before your time, before the kingdoms were founded, before elves came to this world, and will exist a long time after you all pass from memory. There is the sound of wildlife, the sound of strange chirps, tweets, chitters, growls, snarls, and 1,000,001 other things that form an ambient noise that is completely unlike anything you've ever experienced. It's the kind of thing that will set you on edge because it's so detached from the world you know, and you descend down towards a huge fire that is surrounded by heavy stones to contain it and stop it from spreading. And around in the trees there are structures. There are rope bridges, walkways, swings, vines, and any other litany of transportation methods, as there is an entire civilization that stretches right from the canopy all the way down, hidden and camouflaged from the outside world, impassable and impossible. And they descend slowly, depositing you all one at a time at the edge of a huge fire. And around you there are figures. It appears you've landed in a large settlement, and the people of the settlement begin to descend from the trees, swinging down on ropes, descending, climbing down on ladders, morphing out of the wildlife themselves. Some just materializing out of thin air, others shifting out of animal forms, some dropping down, having the ability to fly naturally, it would appear. And a sea of bodies surrounds you all. Duran is placed down and is immediately lifted on his bed, which doesn't fit in with any of the furniture around here, as it's straw and tattered and soaked in blood. And without a word or a comment from anyone, they carry him into a huge tent that looks like it's made of stitched together hides from different animals. The first thing that everyone will notice, however, is that absolutely all of them, no matter what form, what sex, what sort of clothing they're wearing or how old they are, they all have tattoos, and they all have feathers that are in some way attached to their clothing, maybe tucked behind an ear, maybe in sort of a plumed chest piece. Maybe some of them have them sort of wrapped around their arms, but all of them seem to have feathers of hawks or eagles. Hawks or owls, sorry. And jumping down as his mount shifts back into a wood elf, Arvin steps forward to those of you who are now able to walk. He steps to Sarah and says, "You need to rebind that soon." He gestures to where you've had like a bark skin wrap that's been tied off tightly around your arm.
I don't really care much about the arm right now. Please tell me that that one's going to be all right.
You point as he's carried apart from the group. The sea of bodies starts to close, cutting off your line of sight on him. You see that he's been carried into a huge tent that has an open front to it and light flickering inside. And you can see that it's quite clearly a dominant structure here, almost like the main tent, or certainly the main building or property that you can see on the the forest floor. I'll do what I can. So will the healers.
I don't
Whoa.
think I'm ever gonna shoot again.
He smiles. You've seen...
I was a really good archer.
What is your name, child?
My name is Sarah. What about you?
My name is Ivan. By your accent, from the freelance.
Don't really know
Or
if they're really free.
Rivercroft? Right. We'll do what we can for you as well. But you all are in need of rest. Once you've rested properly. And he looks and you realize that almost everyone surrounding you is armed and armored. And although you have been brought here and helped and they have healed, you can see that a lot of these people have a lot of mistrust and anger in their eyes. And you are amongst maybe 50 to 70 individuals surrounding you that all are better armed, better equipped, in much better shape than you. But they also look at you because you wear nothing, none of your clothing is in any way comparable to anything that is being worn here. The closest is Arvin, who's wearing simple hide and hide trousers and a simple cloth top.
What about the prince? Is he alright?
There's a pause.
I want to get a really good look at him. I'm trying to look inside of his soul to see how he feels about that question.
Give me an insight check. On a 26, he looks taken off guard by that. And you notice it's not just him, a lot of people look towards you. And he steps in close and he tries to gather everyone together as best he can. It'd probably be best if you didn't speak to the prince so openly. A lot of people here, new friends, family, who was sent to treat with him and never came back.
That's because he was under attack. Don't you understand?
You understand that the prince was not the only person who was attacked that day. You are all outsiders here, and it was outsiders who spilt their blood. Don't expect any kind words from these people.
I don't want any kind words. I'm my father's daughter. He was a soldier, and the prince is going to be my king.
Listen. You're young. You have your whole life ahead of you. And one day you are going to realize that it's not about princes, kings, kingdoms, or empires. Because it doesn't matter who sits on the throne. What matters are the people. And he glances off to one side and he leans down so he's sort of close to you, and he gingerly puts his arm around you to direct your attention as he points. And you see that your first estimation of everyone being armed wasn't entirely accurate, as it doesn't appear that everyone here is a soldier. He picks one or two people out from the crowd There are mothers with babes in slings, still armed, still with knives on their hips, or some with bows across their backs. But there are families here. There are common folk. This isn't a military outpost. Everyone is just...
He's still really preaching to the wrong fucking choir, though, because Sarah had no food, lost her dad, lives out here. Like, she does not...
What do you say? Not everyone here is king or a commoner. We are all one people here in the forest. Just looking after their own.
And what do you think that we were trying to do?
They don't know you. Any of you, he turns to look at the rest of you. These people have a culture entirely different to the kingdoms and empires. Their heritage is beyond anything you can imagine. They have a way of seeing the world that will not be shaken. You are one of the only group of outsiders to ever willingly set foot inside this forest and be greeted in this manner. Because they fear the outside world. And they have a great reason to. Their friends, their families were slaughtered at Farmer's Rest by outsiders, not of their own. While I have no doubt that you were not the ones responsible, you still come from lands that are full of deceit, powerful leaders who oppose what our organization is trying to accomplish. This is... He suddenly sort of like changes tact, seeming to realize sort of all of your conditions. This is all a lot for our first meeting. I wish it was under better circumstances. But rest for all of you is needed. So see to it that you have your own dwellings, you have your own shelter, and that you have food, water, clothing if you need it. We can tend to your injuries as best we can. There's only one rule. You value your survival. Don't leave camp. It won't last an hour out in the forest.
Right then. I guess that's that.
I'm like semi-conscious at this point.
You've had like basically had a power nap, but it's not like you're functioning. You could potentially even fight, but you need sleep at some point soon. And the offer of shelter is tempting.
Now, what is our status in general?
All of you are close to like a first level exhaustion, which will go away. Like you need rest, and some of you need your injuries tending to make sure you don't get infected, to make sure that you don't, haven't. Because I mean, some of you have bits of smashed carriage, bits of the burnt pyre, dirt, mud, blood, other people's blood. Like you need looking
other
after.
people's body parts in us.
Yes.
I will kind of raggedly say, rest, then talk.
We're mighty grateful y'all came along.
Yes.
But we can sort all this out one way or another. We're just lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
There was a guy, there was something
Not now.
in a masked
Not now.
cloak.
You've done plenty.
Right. Thank you.
And he
Where?
turns and he starts walking towards the crowd, and he has to stop because they don't part. And he looks to the people on either side. Finally, he picks out one. Jamal, they are not your enemies. None of you have to fear these people. They are not the people that took from you, any of you, whatever crimes, sins, atrocities they may have committed. They are not people that slaughtered your own. And there's a pause, and he almost looks as outsiderish to you guys, like to them as to you. Like he clearly doesn't look almost everyone here is a wood elf, so he sticks out. But he's wearing their clothes, their garb. He has one of their amulets, rode in with them. But he's getting a little animosity from them at the moment. But finally they part, and he gestures through sort of the sea of people who some are sort of like crouched, staring, peering at you. They don't move, they don't walk, they don't act, they don't talk. Some of them communicate in short whistles and yips. They have a whole different way of holding themselves. But he gestures, and you can see into this huge tent where Duran was carried. There's a fire pit in the center, and behind it you can see that Duran's bed has been rested against the far edge of the tent, and there are people bringing water, men and women dressed in robes as opposed to armor, who are coming over to tend to the individuals.
Just a question. I know these aren't standard common folk, but would my background as a folk entertainer and rustic hospitality help me a little bit to try to soften these people towards us a little bit? Maybe, if I know some songs about, the Stepford Forest, even if it's as simple as with my mimicry being able to do bird calls, something to try to...
You won't know anything in any language. But
right.
You
No,
might
I know I wouldn't know Druidic or anything like that.
No. Even like you wouldn't even know any Elven, because they're presumably, if they speak Elvish, they're wood elves, but you wouldn't know anything in of their culture. But you might know songs, riffs, tunes that you could try. Give me a performance check.
Okay. It's a 29.
29. You manage to mimic some of the songs as you get in, and there's a quiet moment where the crowd has started to disperse, but a few people linger, trying to catch glimpses of the outsiders, whispering in hushed tones in strange languages, as people of all different ages, even children, come scampering over to catch a glimpse of the strange folk that have come from the faraway lands, and are hushed back by parents. But Calvin, you start playing a soft, melodic song, as eventually you will have your instrument taken away from you, but it is... You get the feeling that, it's the kind of song that has resonated with them. Eventually they'll have to take your instrument because they need to lie you down and tend to you.
Yeah.
But
no, and I'll offer it, and just, like I said, we're just grateful.
The woman tending to you has kind eyes, deep brown. She nods, and she looks she looks relatively clean in comparison to the rest of them, and she is wearing no armor, just long flowing woven robes, and she leans down and she takes your hand and holds your hand as someone else tends to you, rebandaging the wounds. There's some peace and quiet for everyone. We're gonna start to wrap up here, but first, Sarah, you have your arm sort of rebandaged, and they tell you that essentially Arvin comes over and translates that it is unlikely that you'll regain use of it, but they are going to do everything they can, and he tells you to be strong. But surprisingly, because of the reattachment, actually in the best condition. Everyone else has 1,000 lacerations and wounds that need to be individually cleaned and treated. You are able to move around. They tell you not to leave the tent for any reason. You are given an entire new set of clothing that is just a long green dress that is slightly too big for you, but it's airy.
Sarah in a dress?
Yep. It is almost like pullover. It's not like fitted or anything like that. It's not glamorous, but it just is made of light, almost feels like silk-like material. And you can see that outside there is a lot of people moving around, and you can hear noise and chaos. And it's really warm down here. The canopy just seals in the heat, and it's like it's tropical. So it's actually quite nice to be wearing something so light, and you realize why all of them are dressed so lightly. None of them have furs or anything like that. But they permit you to be by Duran's side as he is laying there. And Duran manages to find your hand, though he's not conscious. And he reaches out and just feels your fingertips, and he wraps his hand around yours. And on that, as the camera sort of pans out, we see this huge tent with the fire crackling in the middle, with people with kind words and soft skin and delicate touches who are tending to your wounds, your numerous injuries. They look after you, and around there is the song of birds and peace. Far away from the world, far away from the troubles. And on a relatively nice note, for once, we're going to leave a long march until next week. Yeah.
Nice. I think maybe the first peaceful ending.
Indeed.
In 3 seasons on the Long March. So we did something right tonight. So yeah, that's what we're gonna leave tonight's session of the Long March, my friends. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you for your donations, and thank you guys showing up tonight and coming out to show support for us and the show. If you did enjoy the show, please let us know, of course, in chat what your favorite moment was. And if you haven't followed the show yet, be sure to hit the follow button here on Twitch so you can watch us for future episodes, including in coming up just in like 9 minutes time here, The World Tree Burns, another D&D 5th edition game in Midgard, the Cobalt Press official sponsor campaign. So stick around for that. It's got a lot of us from this show, and of course Dan Dillon and McCloken will be joining us as well for that. But let's go around the cast and crew. Did we enjoy ourselves? And of course, where can we find you guys online? Josh, great job tonight. How do you think that went?
Yeah, it was those wild magic surges at the beginning. Sarah having her arm severed in that explosion. Duran with everything that has happened to him, which is very strange. And you guys running into, a figure from the past in Arvin Vale being attacked and assailed by a mysterious group that know that Sarah still has the crown. It's a lot of fun. And
nobody knows that I have that. What are you talking about?
Exactly. So we'll see how things come along next week. But as for me, stick around and see me talk far less than I just have, as I will be joining the World Tree Burns Midgard campaign as Kane. I'm very much looking forward to it. This music is sublime, by the way. The sound this entire episode has been so immersive, and I've loved every second of it. Thank you.
We're not sponsored by, but we do use tabletopaudio.com, so definitely go check out Tim at Tabletop Audio. Does amazing work. I'll drop you guys a link if you want to use it in your own home game. Like I say, we're not sponsored, but we love using it, and we appreciate all the sounds from Tim there. Great stuff. Thank you, Josh. Tool School, same questions.
Yeah, no, I had a great time. Wow, it was tense in there. I mean, we were all right on the edge for a long time of the when was going to be the call for the next death saving throw for as with one the one healer, and when heal doesn't necessarily stop the problem. So I thought it was great. I had a great time, and find me all over the internet as Tall Squall. And if you go to my Twitter, you'll see a link to all the fun stuff that I do, including World Tree Burns right after this, and Turn Cloaks podcast out there, and a campaign that I DM for on Saturdays that we do 100% for charity, and hope to see you there.
Thanks so much, Tool School. And Jess.
Yes, this was wonderful and beautiful after a very, very scary scenario. I'm interested to see how well we all survive and what happens. But yeah, you can find me as Little Cup of Joe on Twitter, mostly, is where I yell about all my RPG nonsense. And I'm sometimes on other shows here and there. Kind of spotty, but I'm around.
Awesome. Thank you, Jess. And Tia.
Where the fuck is my duck?
And your dad.
Oh,
no. No.
I was going to say, Tall Squeedle as well
Rosie.
probably is not with us.
Yeah.
Things
No more
come,
duck and
things
pig.
go.
Yeah, they're gonna go and make their own party now. It's gonna be Tall
Yeah,
Squirrel and
duck
Rosie. The wild magic surges, holy shit, guys. Like, thank you, first off, and the second off, fuck you. But why? I just want one campaign where I keep my limbs working. I don't think that's too much to ask. Just one campaign. But yeah, so happy ending, right? And Duran. That made me. I was more upset about Duran possibly dying than I thought I was going to be. I guess Sarah/I flip switch on that one pretty quick.
I will tell you right now that may or may not have been to do with a donation from someone who has deemed something.
His name is Winfora? Yes, I know.
It might be Winfora.
Yeah.
Winfora may or may not have decided that it is time.
What did you do?
Sarah found something out.
Oh, fuck. That's an ominous note. All right. Tia, where can we find you online?
You can find me at Laura Laney. I've been talking in the chat the whole time. That's my name there. Follow me, and also check out Encounter Will's Discord, because I'm too lazy to link my own Discord, but I'll probably do it in there at some point. So, hey, cross-promoting. Follow his shit, then you can find me later.
Nailed it. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week, of course, Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, every week for The Long March. Kingmaker here on Encounter Roleplay, or you can catch up, of course, on youtube.com/Encounter Roleplay. It's all playlisted. I'll link you guys as well. But we're going to dive right into our next game, which is, of course, The World Tree Burns. I will play you the trailer for that here in just a second. But until then, my friends, try not to roll too many nat ones, because we want to be here laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Bye.